Welcome to the Movatic Admin Training. The Movatic Admin can be found at admin.movatic.co. We recommend using Google Chrome when interacting with the Movatic software. When you get to the login screen, you'll enter your email address. This is the email address that you were sent the initial link from Movatic that allowed you to create a password. Then you will enter that password. If you've forgotten the password, there is a link that you can follow in order to create a new one. Let's sign in and take a tour of the Movatic admin. From the lead screen, you'll find your system. The layout of the screen is on the left-hand side. All your category headings are here. On the rest of this dashboard page, you have some information like total number of rentals on the system, total number of users on the system, the number of bikes available, and the number of current active rentals. You have a map which will display the station or stations in your system. Further down, there are some metrics that get kept by Movatic, such as number of rentals per day, number of new users per day, and the duration of rentals. This information you can filter monthly or yearly, by month, and by year for the life of the system. On the left-hand side, the first active heading is users. We're going to notice that there are several things that are like in all lists of information on Movatic. First, they're all searchable. There's a search bar regardless of the information that you enter here. If it's part of a phone number, if it's a name, those names will come up. All of the information in Movatic, any data table, is exportable to a .csv file so that you can add it to a Excel spreadsheet. All the lines of code you can click on. Information, it's going to have the user's rental history, and you'll notice that all of the pages with data tables are expandable. You can switch this from 10 up to 100 line items so that you can scroll through the whole list. If there are multiple pages, previous and next will appear. In users, one of the primary reasons that you'll use the users tab, other than getting information on a user, is if a user is not using the system properly, you are allowed to ban the user from using the system. When you click on ban and submit that user as a banned user, first thing that will happen is you'll get a dialog box noting that you've had successful communication with the server. The user will be sent an email from Movatic letting them know that they've been banned from using the system. If this user was to apologize for their behavior or if they'd broken something and paid to have it fixed, you are able to authorize them from this same exact screen. Users, banned or otherwise, won't ever leave the system. All their information stays for the life of the system. It's on the cloud. It is always available to find. Whether or not they are an active member on the system is noted in this column. The next heading down is rentals. You'll see when there are subcategories, those subcategories build across the top of the screen. So you're able to toggle between active rentals and completed rentals. If you have an active rental, any current bikes that are rented will appear first when you click in the rentals heading. If you were to see that the start time of this rental was a long time ago, either in time or by date, it's a very good idea to go and check on the status of that bike. See if it's at a dock. If it's at one of your stations, that just means that the user has failed to end the rental in their app. Headings that have date-sensitive information also have the ability to filter information by date. Enter a beginning and an end date to the information you're looking for and press the filter button. If you found, say, bike 29 had been sitting at the rack and the rental was open, you're able to click into this, and again, in this upper right-hand corner of the screen, you're able to end the rental. When ending a rental, you can choose the station. We only have one station here, so the station is going to be this station. You can choose to end it now, or you can enter a custom time and date if you've discussed with the user when they return the bike. We're going to choose to just end this rental now so you can see how that happens. We're going to submit. You have the dialog box letting you know that that rental had ended. Completed rentals has every rental that's happened for the life of the system. So again, filtering can be very important, as well as the number of line items that you feel like you want to look through before choosing previous or next. All right, the next heading is bikes. Bikes will be listed by fleet number. Their status will also be listed. If they're in maintenance mode, it will say so. If they're in a rental, you do have access to that rental number, so you can view the rental's detail page. or if they're at the station, that too will be listed. Say 27 is in maintenance currently because it has a flat tire. You can edit that station, and either way it goes. You can toggle it back into active mode, or if there's a bike that's damaged, that can be toggled into maintenance mode. Press submit, and it will update the server. There is a lock list. Most of the work that gets done in the lock list gets done by Dynamic Bicycles, so we do sort of caution you before making changes or things like that on this page. You do get to see the lock's MAC address, power level. This is a reading that's taken from the last rental when it last communicated with the app. Stations are listed when you click into the stations list. There's also a station map. And much like a bike that can be placed into maintenance mode, an entire station can also be edited, and the toggle is right here to change it from active to maintenance mode. You could do this in the event that you are having all your bikes serviced in a day and you walked in, all 4 bikes were available. You could flip the station into maintenance mode, and that would allow for whoever's doing that service to have access to all 4 bikes without them being rented. Be sure to press submit at the bottom of the page. There's a retire option if you had to move a station after that station has had active rentals. You would need to retire and add a new station at the correct spot. You do also get access to that station's rental list. The next is the reported problems tab. Users can use the app to report if they've had a problem with a bike or with the app. Movatic also has a couple of self-generating problem reports when there's issues with communication between the lock and the app or other variety of things. We can see here that we have 2 open problem reports. You get a little indicator in this red dot. So when we enter, we come right into the open list. There are, of course, 2 of them. You can click into a problem detail page, get the issue ID, the user who generated issue, their phone number, email address, the date and time when that issue came up. You are able to close the problem. So if it's much like this is a rental that ended because another user rented the bike that this person did not end in the rental. You can simply close this, or if you wish to contact the user and let them know that that's something that needs to be taken care of, you're certainly able to do that. You can CC other users or other admins in the system as well. I'm going to close this problem report. You'll notice that all of the closed problem reports are available for the life of the system. This is the one that I just closed right here. In all of the lists, you are able to change the direction or value of numbers or dates going from oldest to newest or vice versa. The next heading is memberships. Most of the people watching this video are going to have systems that are amenity systems. I'm going to show you how to add a membership by pressing the Add button in the upper right-hand corner. You can name the plan. The active date will be the day that you set the plan up. So we're going to name this new membership sample. We're going to need authorization. So we're going to choose the authorization tab, and it's going to give you 3 choices on what type of authorization you'd like to use. The most secure being admin authorization, where an admin, for every person who signs up for the system, they're going to need to be approved by a member of your admin team. There's email authorization. If you have a large population of people that are going to use your system that are all going to the same college or all work at the same place and they have an email domain that matches, click on this and it's going to allow you to enter a number of domain name, have users sign up using that email, and they'll get an approval code sent to that email address that they can use to accept themselves into the system. There's also password authorization. This is the least secure method where you would type in a password, you would disseminate that password out to the potential users, and they would be able to use the system just by knowing that password. Any of these that you choose, set them to expire in any of these time periods. 1 year is good. It keeps your active users list nice and trim. If a person's continuing to use the bike share after that first year, they can just very easily get reauthorized to use the system. All right, the next heading is settings. You'll see that all of the subheadings load across the top of the page. This is the general settings page. Again, most of the settings are going to be set up prior to you receiving your system. If you have any questions, you can certainly reach out and let us know. You are able to edit a description of your system here. You have 200 characters to write something. You can find it on the app. in your system. You have a support number, which is like an emergency number for riders to call if they, have an issue with the bike or something like that while it's in their possession. Your system country will be set by us. You're a private system. Most amenity systems are private. The visibility of the system. So if you do not want other users of the Movatic system knowing that you have a Movatic system on your property, you can uncheck this box. Ours is a demo system here on Bike Share, so we have that demo system box checked off. You will not have that checked off at your property. And of course, everyone should, have to see the legal agreement, the terms of service prior to being accepted into a system. So you'd want to make sure that this check mark stays on as well. The next heading over is rentals. We have a single station here at On Bike Share, so we use the round trip. We keep that on so that users know that they need to return the bike to the original rack. If you have multiple stations, you can choose to allow the bikes to roam around. You would just simply uncheck this box. Our max open rentals is set to 1. It is the amount of bikes that one person is allowed to rent using one app who has signed one waiver. So usually 1 is the safest way for your property to keep this, but you can certainly allow them to rent as many bikes as you want. You would just use the arrows here to bring that number up. Rental length warning. So you can set a rental length warning. This will send a notification to the user's phone. If you choose 1 hour, every hour, user that has an active rental will have a notification come to their phone every hour on the hour, every 2 hours, every 6 hours that they have an active rental. Or you can set this at none. It's entirely up to you. Reservations we tend not to use for Bike Share. Movatic runs several different types of transportation related things, and sometimes reservations are needed, such as bike lockers. For Bike Share, we find that it causes more problems than it solves. So entirely up to you if you want to use it. If you check it off, it will ask you how many bikes you would allow one user to reserve at a time. So our best practice is not to use reservations. And you can set time restrictions. We here have a open and close time on our system. You set the time zone to the proper time zone that you're in and set an open and close time. Very simple. Any changes that you ever make to this page or any of the other pages, you definitely want to make sure you click on the Save Changes button before exiting out. The next heading is branding. You can choose 2 colors that will be featured in the app. You can match them up to your branding for your property. You can add a logo. Just drag and drop the file from your computer. It must be a PNG file. That's 200 pixels by 200 pixels. It should be round in shape and less than 1 megabyte. Just drop that file right here. Press Save Changes and your logo will feature on the app just like this one does right here. There's also a banner you can upload. Same, just follow these directions and upload your system banner. The next subheading is Terms of Service. We've provided a fully customizable Terms of Service agreement and waiver form. We have the 5 most important pieces of information about renting the bikes right up front. When the user opens this in the app, they're able to see the most important facts of the waiver, but it is a fairly substantial document. Again, it's fully customizable. If you have any changes that you want to make, simply click into it, make those changes. You can change font sizes, bold, italicize, underline, add bullet points, or make sure if you do make any changes to save those changes before navigating away. The system admins subheading is the last one in setting. This is where you're going to see a list of all the people allowed to administer your bike share system. You can also add administrators here. Simply press the add button, add their first name, last name, and the email where they're going to receive that initial email from Movatic to set up their password. You can also choose their admin permissions, and you can subscribe them to notifications about pending members and problem reports. Then just press submit, and they'll receive that email in their inbox at the email written above. The last section is a documentation section. It has some information on using Movatic. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Thanks for watching.